beast! Ah!
Hello, and welcome to another exciting episode of Not the Bees, the Nicolas Cage filmography podcast. I'm Elizabeth.
And I'm Megs.
And this week we watched 2024's Longlegs. Ooh, it was so creepy. Ooh, okay. We open inside a car driving in the snow to a secluded house. A little girl looks out the window of the house at the car and she puts her coat on. She goes outside and walks toward the car only to turn around and go back. We cut to a scary man who says, "There she is, the almost birthday girl, but I wore my long legs today." And then we have the opening credits. Next, we're in an FBI training room. These agents will be going door to door asking people if they have seen such and such a suspect. A couple of agents in a car pull up to a house. The female agent, Lee Harker, gets out and looks at a house and suddenly knows the guy they are looking for is in the house across the street. She just knows the suspect is in there, but her partner won't call it in. He offers to go take a look, walks to the door, and knocks. He is shot in the head for his troubles. Harker moves into the house, gun drawn. She moves from room to plastic-covered room, finding the man sitting on a bed with his arms up. She tells him not to move. He says he won't. Next, Harker is in an FBI room looking at a series of images, saying the first thing that comes to her mind. A voice says, "A number has been generated between 0 and 100. What is the number?" She guesses 33 and 0. Harker sits in the back of a car, two people in the front. Carter, her boss, asks her how she beat the number generator 8 times. She says she also failed it 8 times. Half psychic is better than not psychic, he says. They talk about the house across the way. A family murder happened there. A letter is left with the bodies in code signed Longlegs. There have been 10 such murders where the murderer is making the fathers kill their families. The female agent says she's not ready for this, but Carter says if you have any other suggestions to bring them up. In an office, Harker looks over the photos of the crime scenes. She asks what the families have in common. Carter tells her that all the families had daughters whose birthdays fell on the 14th of any given month. He calls her highly intuitive and tells her to get to work. A 911 call plays. The caller says his daughter is not his daughter. Harker looks through crime scene photos. Carter interrupts a napping Harker and asks her to come with him. In a lounge, she debriefs him. The families were all killed by the father using something already in the house. If it weren't for the letters, there would be no sign Longlegs had been there. At Carter's house, he introduces Harker to his family. His daughter, Ruby, asks if Harker will come to her birthday party. Harker goes home. She calls her mother. Someone pounds on her front door and she grabs her gun, but there's no one there. She looks outside and sees a mysterious figure. She goes running after him, but sees him in her house. She searches room to room, but the house is empty. Then she sees an envelope on her desk addressed to her that says, "Do not open until January 14th. Harker puts on a pair of gloves and grabs a letter opener. She opens the envelope. It's a birthday card for a 9-year-old. Inside is a cipher, and on the back is a riddle written in code. Using the cipher, she cracks the code. It says, "Tell them how you got this, how it came into your head. I'll cut off her hanging milk tits and bleed your mommy dead." There's been another murder. This time the family has been sitting there dead for a month. The riddle says, "Down low, too slow." Carter asks how she figured it out. She says she only looked long enough. Harker calls her mother. She says she'll be busy with work and probably won't be able to come over. Harker begins going through microfiche and goes through a book about the 9 circles of hell. She maps out the age of the murder victims and determines this is an algorithm. His first murder was in 1966, and she's decoded all the letters. There is a repeated reference to the Camera family farm. She believes Longlegs was at the Camera family farm and that the lone survivor may have seen him. Carter and Harker head out to the farm. They open up the barn. They find a crucifix nailed to the ground and pull up the board. Underneath, they find another note from Longlegs as well as a large handmade doll, porcelain face, hands, and feet. There's a metal ball in the head that emits a sound. As the sound plays, Harker imagines snakes, and then we see the doll in a mirror. A creepy man, Nicolas Cage, leans in and asks the doll, "What's your name, little angel?" "Nice to meet you, Carrie Ann." He places a black blanket over the doll, and we cut back to the forensic room. We cut to a car driving down a rural road. The creepy man, Longlegs, is driving. He stops at a hardware store. He asks the young girl at the counter when her birthday is, and she yells for her father. Back in the car, he yells at the top of his lungs.
Daddy! Mommy! Make me! And save me from the hell of living!
At a mental institution, Harker and Carter are talking to a man about Carrie Ann Camera, the only survivor of Longlegs. He says that for 8 years she's been practically catatonic, but that yesterday she had a visitor. It was like someone flipped a switch in the back of her head. She's wide awake, eyes bright. The visitor signed in as Lee Harker. Harker questions Carrie Ann. Carrie Ann insists that she knows Harker. She says she feels different, like a long dream. Harker asks if she remembers her parents, and we get a flashback. The doll is in the house, and Carrie Ann's mother stabs it repeatedly. Then we see the doll sitting on the father's lap. We see the father murder the priest, and the mother bends down in front of the doll, and the father kills her too. Back in the mental ward, Harker asks who visited her yesterday, and Carrie Ann doesn't describe him, but tells her that she'd do anything for him. If he told her to jump out a window or kill Harker, she'd do it in a heartbeat. Back in the office, Harker and Carter are discussing how Longlegs could know Harker's name. She says she doesn't know. Carter asks when was the last time she spoke to her mother. She says that her mother called in a police report of a trespasser, tall and pale, on January 13, 1974, one day before Harker's birthday, which makes the 14th of the month her birthday. Carter asks if she remembers this, but she says she doesn't know. He tells her to go visit her mother and ask about the man. Harker goes to her mother's house. Mom appears to be a bit of a hoarder, and as she watches a cockroach cross the floor, Harker has another vision of the snakes, and then we see her as a child, Mom sitting next to her. Back in the present, Harker asks her mom if she remembers her 9th birthday. Mom says she doesn't. She says she may have forced herself to forget things, but that all of Lee's stuff is still in her room. Harker goes upstairs to her room and has a vision of her younger self taking something out of a wooden chest. Harker took the chest home and opens the box she saw her younger self open. It's full of Polaroid photos. She begins looking through them and gets a jolt as she comes across one of Longlegs. She flashes back. Her mother came out and demands to know who this stranger is and why he's talking to her daughter. Longlegs stands up and sings.
It can be nice, make me go now, and I have to come back, not once, not twice, but as many times as I like.
Harker drives to Carter and shows him the photo. They start a manhunt. Cut to Longlegs' house. He's crafting another doll. Then we see him standing at a bus stop, bags in hand. We hear police sirens in the distance. He sets the bags down and puts his hands up as the cops arrive. On a videotape, we watch an interrogation of Longlegs. He asks when he gets to see Lee Harker. He wishes her a happy birthday and begins singing. They stop the playback. His luggage was crammed with notebooks that were filled with satanic writings, and the writing matches the Longleg letters left at the scenes. Harker posits that Longlegs must have had someone helping him, someone the families have met before, or someone who can pass as a child. It's the 13th, and we can expect his accomplice to kill at least one more family. Harker goes to see Longlegs in the holding room. He says that when she went into law enforcement, she was 20 and that they had a good laugh about it, but only he laughed, not she. Harker asks who she is. Longlegs says, the 7th she to be given the choice they were all given. She asks who the accomplice is. He talks nonsense. She asks who the man downstairs is. He tells her to go ask her mommy. Then he begins pounding his face against the table until his nose falls off, and it's really, really grody. Oh, it was so... Oh.
It was so gross.
Back in the hallway, Carter yells at Harker that there was no accomplice and now Longlegs is dead, and while she was in the interrogation room, Carrie Ann Camera jumped off the roof of her mental institution. Longlegs must have told her to do it when he visited her. Agent Browning drives Harker to her mother's house. Harker goes in to tell her mother that they need to bring her in, that they think she can identify the accomplice. As Harker approaches the house, she finds the door open and her mother nowhere to be found. Outside, Mother kills Agent Browning with a shotgun. Harker runs outside and comes across her mother and a life-size doll of her younger self. Her mother shoots the head off the doll, and Harker collapses to the ground with a headache. She passes out. Flashback to the day young Lee met Longlegs. Her mother tells in voiceover how one day a doll maker came to visit, and the doll told the little girl where to look, what to forget, and what to see. The mother begs for her child's life to be spared, and in doing so, goes to work for the doll maker. She had once been a nurse, but now her job would be to murder families. Harker wakes up. She's downstairs in Longlegs' room. There's a telephone ringing as she makes her way up the stairs to her mother's house. She answers the phone and a low voice says, "You're late for Miss Ruby's birthday party." Harker rushes to Carter's house. Ruby has just started opening her presents. There's a life-size doll of Ruby and Harker's mother is sitting there. She tells Carter, "That's my mother, she's the accomplice," but he shouts at her to sit down. He says he should find something to cut the cakes with. His wife asks if he has to, and he says he does. Mother says the wife is already dead and the little girl will be next. Carter and his wife head to the kitchen. Mother says all three of them have to die, but that if they won't die, will burn and twist in hell forever and ever. We hear Carter stabbing his wife. Harker pulls Ruby behind her. He comes out of the kitchen with a knife. Harker shoots him and Ruby moves back to her doll. Mother stands up and pulls out a knife. Harker shoots her in the head. She pulls Ruby away and tries to shoot the doll, but her gun is empty. We hear Longlegs singing Happy Birthday. The end. Megan! I know you're not a big fan of horror movies. How did this one sit with you?
So I'm not a huge fan of horror movies because, I mean, for a couple of reasons. Like, I have anxiety, right? Like, I don't appreciate jump scares because I feel like they're cheap. And listen, I'm not going to yuck anybody else's yum. Like, other people like it. That's totally fine. I'm a human squirrel and I don't enjoy having that level of anxiety flow through me when I'm trying to do an activity that's supposed to be entertaining. But I mean, I do like some horror. I like things that are mostly supernatural in nature because it's kind of icky for me to think of, human beings being the monsters because that's not a way for me to disconnect from reality. So no, typically when the monsters are human and they're cheap jump scares, I'm not really a fan, but I do really genuinely like really subtle horror. Like, I love ghost stories. I love the melancholy. I really appreciated how this movie opened. It felt so 70s.
Yes.
Like, you see her put that jacket on and I was like, Danny? Like, I thought, like, is that Danny Torrance's fucking jacket from The Shining? Like, it's the white, the crisp white of the snow on the house at the beginning where young Lee Harker lives. It just reminds me of the snow from the end of not the end of the beginning of The Changeling, George C. Scott, with the accident with his wife, and everything is just white and clean and barren, and it gave me like these really classic horror vibes. And I also really like I like that the satanic element of it is not really like an overt situation. It's really just like the subtext of the plot rather than, it being very heavy-handed. I really appreciate the subtle supernatural element as well, that like it's not just a cult. It's not just some guy that's fucking crazy that believes in the devil. There is some element of magic to this.
Yes.
As well. The title sequence was amazing. It's so minimalist, but like it paired so well with the song and the flashes of the horrible things that would happen. Micah Monroe is who played Lee Harker. She is absolutely amazing. She's got this very quiet sort of strangeness to her that
her posture was absurd.
It was.
She is straight as a board.
Do you know who she reminded me of?
Who?
Shelley Duvall.
Oh, yeah, in The Shining.
Yeah, like the whole movie, like she's giving those vibes where you can tell her body is just encased in terror. She doesn't know, and like she tries to act normal and like relaxed, but she's not. The most relaxed I think that we ever see her is when she's decoding her birthday card.
Yeah.
Because it seems like who she is in the real world is actually just a face because she's been changed by this guy. I really enjoyed this movie. The dolls are really fucking creepy. They were actually the creepiest element.
Oh my god.
When they're veiled and like their eyes glow really yellow and they look really sunken in, but like you pull the veil off and they have these very, round shaped heads.
So dolls are always creepy.
Oh yeah,
But
for sure.
these were life-size, photorealistic dolls that looked just like the little girl that was gonna get murdered.
Yeah.
So scary. So scary.
I actually didn't find this movie very scary at all. I thought it was really interesting. I love the way that they set up the introduction to his face.
Yeah.
Because
Like you only see his lips
or like the side, like not even like
yeah.
the side profile of the side profile.
Yeah.
Until he's talking to the first doll that we see when he's making Carrie Ann's doll.
Yeah.
And we don't get to see his whole face for the first half of the shot. We only get to see like one half of it. I think like the left half. And then finally at the end of the scene, we finally do get to see what his face looks like. And it's not as scary as I thought it was going to be.
His makeup was phenomenal. It barely looked like Nicolas Cage.
I definitely I put that as a note. He's completely unrecognizable. He actually looked a little bit like Jon Voight.
Yeah, I can see that.
But yeah, I mean, there were moments where you knew it was him, but for the most part, and I was like, I'm not seeing him in most of these, and I've never seen him be so fucking creepy.
He was so chameleonic and so creepy, and the way that he shuffled, like his posture was really sunken, and he's so pale. All you can tell is like the bright color of his lips.
Mm-hmm.
And he was a scary creature.
Yeah. And like definitely creature, because he was not human. That was insane. I also really appreciated the transitions from scene to scene, like the fade in and out.
Yeah.
Like one of them was after they found the human doll and they take it to like a morgue to open it up where they find like the silver ball and they run the machine over it that makes the sound and she goes into that sort of trance. And like at the end of that scene, as we're moving into the next area of the movie, the transition is she's just stood still, like stock still, eyes unseeing, and it fades into a landscape of a dead tree on a white background that fits perfectly inside of her profile. It's just the imagery of this movie is insane.
Yeah.
It's so fucking good.
I like that they never explicitly say that this is the 1990s.
Right.
But there are pictures of Bill Clinton hanging in the FBI offices.
Ostentatious pictures of Bill Clinton hanging in the FBI office.
And they trace his murders back to 1966. And he first encountered Lee in 1974. So she's been wrapped up in this for 20 years. And he's been killing for 30. The creepiness of the dolls. Alicia Witt as Mother.
I have an Alicia fucking Witt is a note that I wrote because
she was a powerhouse.
Absolutely fucking amazing. Kiernan Shipka
as Carrie Ann, yeah.
Oh my fucking god! Like their performances are so clean.
Yeah,
they're so perfect. I don't like. Yeah, no, this movie was so like I was blown away by how much I liked this movie. I did not. I went into it expecting to be overly scared and to not enjoy like the sensations in my body while I was watching it, but it's so much better than I had expected it to be.
It's not torture porn. It's
nope.
not jump scares, although in the very beginning there was a little bit of a jump scare.
There were a couple little jump scares, like when the first doll opens her eyes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that shit was creepy.
but it just harkens back to the classic supernatural cinema, like
Yeah.
The Omen or The Changeling, or it's just got this feel where everything in it feels very lived in, but also
Yes.
very on edge.
Yes. Yes. This movie was very well written, well paced, well directed. Everything about this gave me such nostalgic feelings for classic horror which is, what I love when it comes to horror. Like that's where, my my love lies when it comes to the genre of horror. I mean, I do um like the parody horror movies. Like those are fun. Like the Evil Dead movies are really fun. Shaun of the Dead is very fun. I feel like most of them are about zombies, but that's fine. This is cinema. This is not just a horror movie. This is a wonderful, wonderful movie. My only complaints about this movie is that it's not long enough. I wanted more story. And then there were moments where his nose, his prosthetic, was so large that there were moments when it was obvious that it was a fake. But aside from that, I had no other complaints. I just wanted more story and maybe a slightly smaller nose.
I also wanted more story. Like, I could have gone for, they barely touch on the magic element.
Yeah.
And they really could have gone into that a little bit more, I think. And we could have gotten, there's not enough Longlegs in Longlegs. I could have done with some more Longlegs in my
Yeah.
Longlegs. But it was, I thought this movie was phenomenal.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree.
So we're giving this an A.
Oh, yeah. A++ to the movie and everyone in the film.
The Nick Caginess of it.
Yeah, oh, the caginess is off the charts. It's off the charts.
A triple plus?
Ooh, maybe. I think our first awarded triple plus, maybe. Maybe.
Yeah.
I think that has to happen. And I really tried to avoid spoilers about this movie because I knew I was going to have to watch it at some point, but for some reason, I didn't really find a whole lot of spoilers. Although there was one thing that I learned that wasn't really about the film, it was just a technical aspect of the making of it, which I think is cool, and I'm just going to share it here in case any of our listeners haven't heard it. And it was the sound guy had said something about, in an interview, about working with him when it came to the way he's able to control his voice.
Yeah, I think they're talking specifically about the scene where he's in the car after he's left the hardware store and he starts screaming at the top of his lungs.
And he hits right at the edge of the top of what they can audibly grab. And then at the moments where he whispers, he goes right to the end, right to the needle of what they can audibly pick up. And that, right there, that is one of hundreds of different metrics to use that just coalesce into this amalgam of a creature that is Nicolas Cage.
You know what? I kind of went looking for some spoilers too, and I couldn't find anything. And what it reminded me of is there are some movies that the twist is so good that you don't want to spoil it. So, like The Usual Suspects.
Yeah.
Reviewers went out of their way to not tell you who the fuck Kaiser Soze was.
Yeah.
Or Seven is another one where
God. Yes.
the zeitgeist decided don't anybody fucking mention Kevin Spacey is in this.
Right. Who will literally be there for a combined 7 total minutes of runtime and steal the entire 2-hour movie.
Yeah.
Out from under the amazing fucking cast that it had.
So I think with Longlegs, people just decided we're not gonna spoil this. We're just gonna recommend it highly and try to force people to go and watch it because it's not.
Yeah.
It's better going in cold.
It really is. It really is. And I can't wait to see Osgood Perkins' next film, The Monkey.
Yeah.
It's gonna be really good.
Nick Cage should have gotten a nomination for this.
I agree. No, I absolutely agree. He should have gotten a nomination for this. This film is brilliant in so many ways.
Yeah.
That, I mean, it's brilliant from inception to its end. The only like lingering question that I have is, which is not like a problem. I don't have a problem. I'm okay because of the kind of movie that this is. I'm okay with there being unknowns.
Yeah.
But the only questions that I still have lingering after is, why is his name Longlegs? And did they like it kind of felt a little bit like a Nolan movie at the end, because they left a hanger on. Like, what happened to the last doll? Did they kill it? Did they just leave it in that house with 3
Well,
dead people?
I loved that last interaction because Ruby is so drawn to the doll.
Yeah.
Harker keeps grabbing her and pulling her away from the doll. And
Yeah.
as soon as her hands are off of her, Ruby goes back to the doll and is
Right
holding
back.
it and cuddling it. So like she's obviously under some sort of hypnosis with this doll. And I was waiting for her to shoot it, and then her gun just fucking clicks.
Right, but like here's the thing, because
Oh!
I was watching, like, she has a revolver. It's 6 shots. She only fired 3 rounds.
She fired more back at her mom's house.
Oh, that's true. I forgot about that.
But the doll's porcelain just beat its fucking head in.
That actually makes it even better because, like, lack of movie magic.
Yeah.
The gun didn't automatically reload while she was in the car like it does in video games. You know what? That just makes this movie even better. Like, it had really great like, everything is practical. Everything about this film is practically done.
Yeah.
Like, it's... This movie makes me so fucking nostalgic, and I'm so glad to have experienced it. And I'm so glad that we experienced it so shortly after it was released, because it was so hard to not go to the theaters to watch it.
We had a lot of people telling us, hey, you're doing this Nick Cage podcast. Are you going to watch Longlegs? When are you going to watch Longlegs? Go to the theater and watch Longlegs. And we were trying to tell them, like, no, we've got to, there's a lot of that goes into making these episodes. We make a lot of notes while we're watching the films.
Yeah.
And there were parts where, like, I would pause and go, like, all right, what happened in the last 5 minutes? Because I forgot to take fucking notes.
Yeah. And, like, I wasn't even, like, I normally do the write-up, and I wasn't doing the write-up this week, and I still would forget to pause because, like, I'd be yelling at my TV. When I saw, when Alicia Witt started being Mother, I was like, oh my god, Alicia fucking Witt. And, like, I couldn't, like, I had to pause right there, and I was like, I have to make sure that I write this note down because holy crap, she's amazing.
Yeah.
This movie blew me away. Although I do think, I will say that the next time there is a Nick Cage movie, if there is ever another one while we're still doing this podcast where the reviews are like that and all of our friends are telling us to go, I think that we should go and see it in the cinema to have the experience, but we can record it, like we can rewatch it and record it later if it's really good. But I really wish that we had that experience in the theater because it was so good that it probably would have been amazing.
Well, there you have it, folks. A++ for Longlegs, A++ for Nick Cage. Go see this movie if you haven't. Even if you don't like horror, trust us.
Yeah.
It's so good. That's it for this week. We are on the socials on Instagram at Not the Bees Pod. We are also on Patreon at Not the Bees, where we post these episodes early, and we have a Discord, and you can kick us a few bucks and join in on that if you want. For this week, I've been Elizabeth.
And I've been Megs.
And we'll see you next time.